Please turn the cell phones off. Technical devices.
Look at me, look at this, look at that, right? So I don't need God. Why do I need God? But the reality of the human being, the reality of us, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator. And this is an essential basic truth. He is the Khaliq. He is the creator. He is the Fatir. He is the starting point. He is the Bari, the originator, and we are not. He is the Musawwir. Allah is the shaper of forms. And so everything that Allah tells us in the Quran about Himself, these are things that we are not. And this distinction and this understanding of our positionality as it relates to Allah is important, is the essence of Tawheed. because it is truly the reality of people that we can get something called a God complex. That we can get so caught up in our achievements and what we're doing. You know, people used to say that doctors or surgeons, one of the dangers of people who are in certain professions where they're saving a person's life. Right? And that because the instrument is in their hands. This can create a mental delusion that a person who is skilled at surgery may actually believe that I am the one because the tool is in my hand. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says very clearly in the Quran that He is the controller of the nafs. Allahu yatawaffa al-anfus hina mawtiha. Allah is the one that causes the soul to leave the body when? Hina mawtiha, when it's time for it to leave. And I ain't got nothing to do with that. You ain't got nothing to do with that. That's why I can lose a person close to me, most dear to my heart. And there's a place and a feeling of helplessness. Because if you really cherish the person, as a human being, all you get to do is watch them go. Watch Allah take back what belonged to Him in the first place. Now this sounds crude to some people. You know, the sensitivity of people sometimes, oh, that sounds really crude. No, it's the truth. Right? So even the most skillful surgeon, they're able to save lives by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And were it not for the decree of Allah, for a person that's at the hand of the surgeon to live, they won't live. This is the essence of the advice that the Prophet ﷺ gave a young man who came to him for advice. There's a long hadith that starts out, "Ihris ala ma yanfa'uk." Be vigilant and diligent about that which is beneficial for you. "Wasta'in billah wa la ta'jiz." And then depend on Allah and don't ever falter. Don't be lazy. Don't give your best. Don't work hard. Do all of those things. In other words, don't be a person who doesn't work hard. Don't work hard for what you want. Be diligent about what you want. And then he said in part of this hadith, and know that if the entirety of humanity conspired to keep something from you that Allah meant for you to have, they would not be successful in doing that. Because human beings can't do that. Why? Because Allah is the Razaq. Allah is the provider. He's the one that gives everybody everything that they got. If you got a lot, you got a lot by Allah. If you got a little, you got a little by Allah. And this isn't determinism, this is reality. And if I want more than what I got, there's a blueprint for that. There's a spiritual blueprint. But my understanding of the rizq that is in my hands is that it's a blessing from Allah. Right? So the very life, the breath that we take, Allah controls that. This is why we see it in life. Somebody will have a terminal illness, and the doctors will say, oh, you're dead. You got 6 months, 3 months. That's what they're supposed to do. They're doctors, they're supposed to make prognoses. They're supposed to do that. But the believer understands that their life is by the decree of Allah. This is how we came here. Like, no one sent our parents a telegram and said, you know, Anwar is going to be born on August 8th at this hour, you know. No, all of those details came after the fact, after I showed up. Before that, it was suspense. And even today, with the advancement in technology, you know, we can predict a little better, but we don't know everything. And this is the challenge of human beings. We are tempted by shaitan to believe that we know everything there is to know. And the only one who knows everything there is to know is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of his attributes, Allamul Ghuyub. He is the knower of all the secrets. All that is invisible. All that is intangible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows it. Beloved brothers and sisters, just a few words of reminder for myself and for everyone. And I was thinking, with the khutbahs, right? Oftentimes, and I say this to my people, right? When the imams give khutbahs, right? And sometimes they say things, sometimes I say things, or they say things and it sounds kind of hard or harsh, right? Oftentimes, if the imam is trying to do his job right, he's telling you what Allah said. And he's telling you what the Prophet ﷺ has said. And sometimes those words weigh heavily because they strike a chord somewhere. My advice to you, because I've been in that position. I've been in the position of the ma'mun, the person sitting and hearing. And when you hear the truth, you recognize it. When you hear the truth, you recognize it. Not you, your soul. Because your soul knows the truth. Your soul. Because that's who you really are. Right? That's who we all really are. That's what this journey is. We came from the world of spirits. We are in the material world. And our spirits are living inside of us. And when we leave, we go back to the world of spirits. The resurrection is about Allah putting the soul back in the body, but the soul is what moves on. The soul is what travels the different realms. So when the Imam says something to you, and I've had my share of experiences of how people receive the message, right? Oftentimes people take it too personally. Like you're supposed to take it personally a little bit, but it's like people be catching feelings sometimes, right? And like I've had all kinds of experiences, good and not so good. People, one brother told me, Brother Imam, I can't listen to you anymore because your khutbahs are too intellectual. I need you to beat me up, Brother Imam. I need you to get your stick out. And I'm like, whoa, man, okay. I'm trying to address my, you want me to beat you up? Yeah, brother, I need that. Right, but what it is that the soul needs different things. Sometimes the soul needs to be admonished. Sometimes the soul needs to be stroked. Sometimes we need to be reminded. So when if I stand up here and I tell us, we need to be more grateful for what we already have. That does not mean we can't want more, but we should not be neglectful to honor what Allah has already given us. Because the danger for us always, particularly in our social context, it's easy for us to forget how much we got. It's so easy. Very few of us have an opportunity to really look at someone the way the Prophet ﷺ has said to us. He gave advice. He said, "La tanzuru ila man fawqakum." Don't make a habit of always looking at people who are above you in status. Don't make that a habit. Why? Because you'll start to long and covet and want what somebody else has as opposed to focusing on what you already have. So the Prophet taught us to look at those who are less fortunate. Don't always look at the ones who are more fortunate. And when one of the Sahaba asked him, Ya Rasulullah, the guys with the money, they come in And, you know, every time you need something, they're able to break you off and give you some money. And we don't have money to give you, so what do we have? So he taught them to do certain adhkar. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, and the merits of La ilaha illallah, right? So then the guys who had money, they heard about that, and they said, well, hey, we're not missing out on that. So they would come, they would do the dhikr too and give the Prophet money. And the Prophet ﷺ said, when they went back to him, Ya Rasulullah, now these guys are coming, now they're doing the dhikr too. You know what the Prophet told them? ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَن يَشَاءُ. At some point you got to accept first where you are. You have to be okay with that. Right? So the Prophet said, look, that's the grace of Allah. That's the fadl of Allah. He gives it to whom He pleases. You're not responsible for that. You're not the one who dispenses the bounty. Allah is. Allah is the one that dispenses the bounty. Right? And so oftentimes when we're reminded to be grateful, it's so that we don't fall into one of the traps of shaitan to make us believe that we're looking everywhere and all over the place and waiting for the right alim or, you know, this right program or that right program, oftentimes at the expense and the neglect of our own selves. So we self-sabotage. And so I wanted to share a verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Ya ayyuha nas, قَدْ جَاءَتْكُمْ مَوْعِظَةٌ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَشِفَاءٌ لِمَا فِي الصُّدُورِ وَهُدًى وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ قُلْ بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا هُوَ خَيْرٌ مِّمَّا يَجْمَعُونَ. O mankind, Allah says, there has come unto you an admonition from your Lord. There has come unto you. So the Quran and the message of the Quran is for all of humanity. And a part of the Quran is an admonition. And you know I'm telling the truth because sometimes you'll read the Quran and say, whoa, man. You close this right now. Goodness gracious. Right? Because Allah is talking about the Musallin, those who are diligent in prayer. Al-Mutasaddiqeen, those who are diligent in giving charity. The people who purify their hearts constantly. The people who stand in the night and beseech Allah. The people who do this. The people who do that. And I don't know about y'all, but I know there have been times when I'm like, woo. Okay. Work on that right there. Because that's real. I'm not no angel. I'm not perfect. So every time I read the Quran, I'm reminded I got work to do. So part of it is maw'ilah. And wa'ab is a reminder, a stern reminder. A stern reminder. Not, you know, you should be doing this. No. Allah sometimes says, wake up, fool. Wake up. Stop deluding yourself. So some of you, you've been hearing the same message over and over again, all of us. Why the repetition? Because that is the truth. There is no other message. Oftentimes we go on a journey looking for something else that makes more sense, that I can wrap my mind around. But the soul knows the truth. And sometimes when Allah hits us hard, that's the mu'ilah. A slap. You're not as big as you think you are. You're not as bad as you think you are. You're not as tough as you think you are. You're not as intelligent as you think you are. يا أيها الإنسان ما غرك بربك الكريم الذي خلقك فسواك فعدلك. Allah said to all human beings, not just Muslims, not just people who call themselves mu'min, Muslim. Allah said, Ya ayyuha al-insan, what makes you take your Lord for granted? He is the one, khalaqaka. He created you. فَسَوَّاكَ, stood you up straight. فَعَدَّلَكَ, and made your back straight. stood you up and made your back straight. في أي صورة ما شاء ركبك. And then he fashioned you in any form he wanted. Some of y'all are tall, some of y'all are taller than others. Some of y'all are short, some of y'all are light, some of y'all are brown, some of y'all are this, some of y'all are that. Allah did all that. You didn't do it. So how are you taking yourself so seriously like that? That's what that verse is saying. You didn't create yourself. I don't care how fine you are. I don't care how good looking you are. If you look in the mirror, oh man, wow, you didn't do that. No, you didn't do that. So the appropriate response is, alhamdulillah. Because you know what? Some people, when they look in the mirror, they got one good eye. They have a defect, a deformity, maybe that you don't have. Another reason why the prophet said, look at those who are less fortunate. That is for the time when the soul is unsettled. The time when you're doing your grind, you're hustling, you're trying to make ends meet, you're trying to do stuff. Sometimes your soul needs to know all you can do is what you can do. Allah controls all those other things. What you have to do is basic and simple. Movement. Right? So he says, an admonition came from your Lord. وَشِفَاءٌ لِمَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. And then a soothing for what's in your breast, meaning your soul. So part of the Quran is stroking. Allah will tell you, man, you can do it. Yeah, I know it's hard. Yeah, I know you fell down. I know you fell down again. I know you fell down again. Get up. Make tawbah. Go back to Allah. Don't turn away from Allah. Keep going. That's part of the message of the Quran. Wahudan, and guidance. And there's no better guidance than the guidance of the Quran. There's no better guidance, no better blueprint. But in order to benefit from the guidance, you have to read the Quran. If we abandon it, if we leave it, we don't really have a personal relationship where we're constantly reading the Quran to understand what Allah wants from us, then we're missing the guidance. وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and then a mercy for the believers. And a part of the mercy of the word of Allah and the message of Allah is that it's a reminder for your soul. Because your soul knows the truth. But see, in order for you to condition your soul, you have to do the work on your soul. You have to invest time. Like the Prophet said, the purification. You have to invest time. Allah said, say in the bounty of Allah and in His mercy, therein let them rejoice. It is better than what they hoard. The essential point here is that the Prophet was to remind the people, as I'm reminding myself and you today, that as long as we have Allah and the guidance from Allah and the cognizance and the consciousness to come and submit ourselves and pray to Allah and ask Allah and turn to Allah and repent to Allah and prostrate ourselves and submit ourselves, that is what we should rejoice in. Yes, alhamdulillah. That is what we should rejoice in. Why? Because Allah said, it is better for them than what they hoard. And we're conditioned to hoard. We're surrounded by stuff, we got stuff, we buy more stuff, we collect stuff. We got so much stuff, we don't know what kind of stuff, how much stuff we got. Y'all know what I'm telling you. Man, you don't have this much stuff. What you doing with all that stuff? I don't even know. There's some people that do an accounting of things, but most of us, we got stuff. Right? This is a form of the hoarding. Let me just gather it again. And then our reality, how many janazas you been to, Akh? Where you've seen somebody take their stuff with them? You tell me. Every janazah that you go to, name one time that you've seen somebody take their stuff with them. I'm not talking about our Christian family. I'm talking about the Muslims. When we go and we perform janazah for each other, what do? Y'all know, we wash the body, shroud it very simply in 2 garments, 2 pieces of cloth, put a little scent on the body, and we carry the body, and when we put it in the ground, can we put it in the 56-inch? Can we put it in the iPhone? Can we put it in the Samsung? Can we put it in the BMW? Can we put it in the $2,000 suit? Can we put it in the $2,000 shoes? Can we put it in the favorite hat? Can we put it in the favorite watch? No, 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 no. And we know this. And so when we have guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are to rejoice. Because Allah has shown us favor. Some people, you can read the Quran to them, you can preach it to them, you can transliterate it, you can translate it, you can write it on a marker board, you can have a software show on your phone, lecture them for weeks, for months. And if Allah Ta'ala has not decreed to shower them with that favor of guidance, they'll never get it. You'll be like, Qul huwallahu ahad. Come on, man. Qul huwallahu ahad. Allah is one God, don't you? Nah, man, that's still, no, that don't make sense. Why? Qul huwallahu ahad. Right? Because the guidance is a favor from Allah. And in Allah's favors, we must rejoice. And so we want to express our gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for making us Muslim in this place, in this time, in our social context. It's a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is a miracle that we got babies that are still growing up, and you know, it's a miracle from Allah. You know why? Because as much as Muslims think that we are supposed to take care of the deen, sometimes we get all worked up, but really, Allah takes care of His religion. He told us that. And all we have to do is surrender. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us min al-muslimin, of those who surrender. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us to be min al-mu'mineen. May Allah bless us with belief and with firm faith. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات من كل ذنب استغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد طيب الطاهر الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. In closing, brothers and sisters, just to repeat one part of what I said in the first half, that all of the khutbahs, the sermons, the speeches, oftentimes, many times, right, it's the responsibility of the imam to tell people and then tell them again and tell them again and tell them again. And to be honest, I've been an imam now for a while. And sometimes I wonder, like, I don't have to keep talking, right? But the Prophet ﷺ didn't have a choice. And I would imagine, what does that feel like? To really face frustration because you got to say something. You got to do it. Like, there are situations where the Prophet ﷺ was mocked and ridiculed. I couldn't handle that. Like somebody throwing garbage on me, spitting at me. I'll flip out. He'd lose my mind. The Prophet ﷺ got upset. He got angry. He got frustrated. But you know what? He couldn't go back. he couldn't stop. I have the blessing of being able to preach and teach. And yeah, I have the option to stop. But really, I don't. Because if the Prophet ﷺ didn't stop, and I truly follow the Prophet ﷺ, then you know what? Stop getting caught up in your feelings so much. Right? And this is a part of the nasiha today for us all. You know, sometimes, like I said, if the imam is up here and I'm down there, say something, I'm like, okay, what's this guy talking about now? Right? But that's us getting caught up in our feelings instead of letting the soul receive what it needs. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we pray that Allah make us of people of the soul. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us to embrace our reality, that we are souls that are having a physical experience. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us to invest in our salvation by doing the things that are beneficial for our souls. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us firm in our iman. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us to stay on the straight path. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala receive us whenever we fall, whenever we go astray. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala receive us with mercy and with tawbah. May Allah grant us tawbah. May Allah grant us tawbah. May Allah grant us tawbah. And may we continue to follow the way of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless and honor and reward and uplift and repeat the praise of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us of the good of this world and to bless us of the good of the next world. And Allah, we ask that you protect us from the hellfire. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.